All right, on May 1st, Navy SEAL Team 6, as you know, killed America's #1 enemy, Osama bin Laden. But our next guest says we do not know the whole story. Former Assault Element Commander for SEAL Team 6 himself, and author of SEAL Target Geronimo, the inside story of the mission to kill bin Laden, is Chuck Pfarrer. Welcome, Chuck. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's go to the crux of what's different, the actual attack itself. You say, and this is brand new to everybody that I know of, that a chopper landed on top of the building. They entered into bin Laden's lair from the top.
That's correct. The crash occurred after an assault team was successfully inserted onto the roof of the building.
Did they need explosives to get once in the building to blow open the doors?
There were barriers inside the building on the staircase. But the assault element that inserted onto the third floor was able to make it onto his terrace, into his house, and these events occurred just about as fast as I can tell you. They're in the hallway, going to the end of the hallway. Bin Laden's son is making it up the stairs. He was engaged. Hall door pops open. Mr. Bin Laden sticks his head out, slams the door. Team guys reverse, set up on the door, and they're in to get him.
People intimately involved with this operation and have been written up in things like the New Yorker magazine said they landed on the ground. The chopper hit the ground first, and it almost compromised the mission. They worked their way up, and he was dead within 15 minutes. You're telling me the accounts that we read, even though the sources seem strong, and there were so many feeds into the Pentagon, into Afghanistan, and everywhere else, you're saying that your account's right? Well,
the sources for that article were actually political. They're all political sources. None of them were operational sources. And also, when you judge these two narratives, okay, which one sounds correct? Two helicopters coming in, the lead helicopter goes down for a ground fire, gets lost, loses lift, whatever. Why does the second helicopter divert and land outside the target? Why don't they land on the roof of the #1 building? Right there, it has something that doesn't make any sense. You've landed the assault force outside the building, so they have to blow their way through the walls, into the doors, fight their way up 3 flights of stairs, then shoot a woman and a man in their bedroom. Okay, that's the narrative that's been allowed to stand. It's false.
Right.
The true narrative is they hit the roof as expected, down. Mr. bin Laden was out in 120 seconds, and the pointy end of this mission was over in 3 minutes or so.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've talked to people intimately involved with the operation, and they say you're wrong. And they say, even though you have a SEAL team background, that the thing that's closest to the actual account is the New Yorker magazine. They landed on the ground, it crashed first, and one other element of it, Zawahiri as a setup, he said absolutely not using that courier as a setup.
I beg to differ. And I'm willing to bet you a piece of pizza and a beer, the spokesman that you're talking to. First of all, they're not special operations guys.
I didn't say spokesman.
Oh, okay, right. Well, their sources are wrong. And I'm also willing to take, let's take a long view here. 2, 3, 4 years, when this mission does declassify, you're going to see this is what happened. It makes it's tactical twaddle to think that the second helicopter didn't land on the primary spot after the first one diverted. It's wrong.
The primary spot meaning the roof?
The roof.
So what makes you think the primary spot was the roof and not outside the building?
Well, it's like walking around Gettysburg and looking up. There's
Do you realize
it
took 5 years to follow that courier, to finally line it up and find him?
Yep,
so
absolutely.
Zawahiri just put him out? Did they put him out in front in order to take over the organization, which he's afraid to run?
He's not afraid to run. He's done that in every organization he's ever been in. When he first was associated with bin Laden, he set up Sheikh Osama. Okay, he moved into the secondary position. It's likely that Zawahiri set up Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. That's likely. This guy is a ruthless, inside the zone killer. Okay, you know, as far as using that, taking 5 years to follow, absolutely. But Dr. Zawahiri can read English. He reads every book there is on 9/11, on the capture of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. He sees in print the name of his own courier. But he still continues to use the guy. Not only use him, but give him a truck with a rhinoceros painted on it to go back and forth to the compound. He set him up.
That's what you believe. And I appreciate you coming in here and talking about the tough question. But I will say I know people intimately involved with this to say this is just not.
I will tell you this. If you're a spokesman for the Pentagon, you've got to say what they tell you to say.
I'm not saying I'm a spokesman for the Pentagon.
This is what happened. This is what happened.
Okay. Chuck,
Hey,
thanks so much. Good luck with your
pleasure.
book, and thanks for your
Absolutely.
service to the country.
Hey, thank you. It was my pleasure.
Okay, meanwhile, coming up straight ahead, next on the rundown, caught an open mic, what the president allegedly said about Israel and Senator John McCain's response, Israel's prime minister, I should say. Then he goes by Graham, as in graham cracker. But this aspiring politician was told to take down those signs because they're offensive. Are you kidding?